We are in the Security Operations Center of SelectCS, the mechanical company, which is the leader for the managed security services in Italy, UK, and in Europe. So from this facility, we do provide a number of services, mainly proactive services and reactive services as well, in order to provide organizations, thousands of organizations, with the monitoring and management capability in order to deal with security incidents events. This kind of facility organization can deal with any kind of security event, and therefore even understanding in advance what could be the threats they would need to face, and therefore being able to deal with these events in real time. Computing platform has more than 300 teraflops computational power. This huge amount of computational power, it is then connected to the internet through a 10 gigabit connectivity that we have, and through the crawlers and through the algorithmic framework that we developed. So semantic engines, predictive analysis, neural algorithms, we are able to understand real time whether there are new vulnerabilities which are not yet known, not even published by the technology vendors community. By identifying these new and unknown vulnerabilities, we are able to set the best strategy in order to mitigate the possible risks that we would need to face in the event an attacker would be interested in exploiting such a vulnerability and penetrate our customers' network. This is just one example. The other example would be to identify those threat scenarios, let's say, those attempts from an organization to even during the planning phases of the attack itself. The internet is not only the area where people commonly just exchange information or use the social networks, Twitters and Facebook, etc. But the majority of the information which resides over the internet, it is actually based upon the dark web. So there is a huge amount of information which is not commonly accessible, not even visible to anybody using every day, let's say, the internet through Google, for instance. So there is a great amount of information which is in fact very relevant for what concerns the cybersecurity purposes. We are able to crawl this huge amount of information, which is again hidden to the eyes of any single citizen. And by doing that, we are able to cross-correlate all of this information real time and provide ourselves and our customers with actionable intelligence.
We receive a lot of attacks from outside in terms of cybersecurity attack, cyber attack, and because we do development of R&D, and so there is someone that tries to stall our R&D, or just activists that try to demonstrate something. There are entire countries that develop a country-based capability on this, and so the level is very, very high. And so we need to think for the future on something that can stop a country, and we need to be ready to defend our countries from that kind of attack.
Okay, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the attacker. What we would do is to identify, select a person who would have easily access to the organization network, where the data and information is stored. In order to do that, first of all, we can go through the internet, Google, for instance, and look for a system administrator of the company that we are interested in exploiting. Once we define the target, the person that could be the system administrator of that company, we search for more information regarding this person. We find out, for instance, that he has or she has an account on Facebook, on the social networks. And by surfing again the web, we can find out that this target, this person, has got some hobbies, some interests that we can exploit in order to then send this person an email, for instance, attached to this email a PDF file which will include some malware code and a vulnerability which we can exploit within the system that the target will use, and therefore penetrate and inject to the system of this person the specific malware code, which will be then the payload we will exploit within the organization network in order then to spread out our presence within the company that we want to take control of. Once the attackers are inside the organization, then they can, let's say, leave in a stealth way without being recognized by disguising themselves within the commonly acceptable communication system, and therefore they cannot be detected at all. But once they have, let's say, distributed the malware code within the customer, the organization network, then they can, time by time, exfilter some of that data which is within the grasp of the communications, which is thought to be fine from the organization perspective, when it is not.